Right, so today I'm going to be doing the rear differential fluid on Polaris Sportsman. This just happens to be a 570. It's a 2015, but like most Polaris Sportsmans, they have this drive, case, and rear diff all in one. So that's the secondary clutch there. That's the rear axle. It's all one case. And this here is your fill hole. Okay, so over on the right hand side of the bike, if you get down and look underneath, that there is your drain hole. So you kind of got to get down on your hands and knees. So one thing to note before you drain the fluid out, you want to crack that nut down here. Make sure you can get it off, because the last thing you want to do is crack the drain hole, dump your fluid out, and then find out that that's stripped, or you can't get the screw off or the plug out. The other thing you want to make sure is when you take the fill cover off, check to make sure the fluid level is up. That way you can kind of tell if maybe you have a leak somewhere, and then start looking around for a leak. So that's just a couple tips before you get started. So I'm going to go ahead, crack this nut first. If I can get this nut off, I'm going to go around to the drain and then pop the drain off. But I'm going to check that fluid level too at the same time. Okay, so this is all you need to change the fluid on the rear diff. Just got a oil pan. I got a hose here that I'm going to use to fill with. Got the rear diff fluid. There's a little nozzle there to help fill it. And I'm just got a socket wrench with an extender and a 5/16 bit on the end. That's what you need for the drain hole and the fill hole. You just come around to the rear of the bike, give it a pull. It's on there tight. So first, now that I got it cracked, I'm going to check the fluid level, and then some should come out. Yeah. Now that I know the fluid level is up here just under the fill plug, I'm going to go ahead and crack the drain plug and go and let the fluid out. So now I'm under the bike. This is the drain plug. I just cracked it, so it's good to go. So like I said, now that the fill plug is cracked and I know the fluid's up, which means there's no leaks, I'm going to go ahead and drain this. Alright, so something else to take note of. On the drain plug, there's a magnet right here, and if you notice, there's a little bit of filings. You probably can't see it in the camera, but if I move it around, you'll see looks like sludge. Anyway, that's metal filings. That's normal. I don't have that much on here. It's just a little tiny bit. Anyway, I want to clean that off before you put the drain plug back on. The little magnets there, because all the gears in the transfer case are just going and going and going all the time. They wear a little tiny bit, because there's no filter like an oil filter for the engine, and it's not required. This little magnet here, now you can see it. That little magnet just collects those little dust particles, not dust, but metal particles that are very fine. Anyway, you don't want to find chunks of metal on this, just a little. It feels like very fine sand, and that's okay, that's normal. So now that that's all cleaned up and the fluid's just about drained out, I'm just going to put it back in, tighten it up, and fill her. Okay, the drain plug's back in. I'm over here at the fill hole. I took the plug out, and as you can imagine, trying to get this up here and to fill that is a bit of a nightmare. So here's a little tip. What I've been doing, as I said, I had this plastic hose, just some tubing I found in the basement, nothing special, just happens to be about the same size as that fill hole, just a little smaller. So I just kind of put that in the fill hole, run the tube up here by the tire, and then I just fill it from right here. It makes it a lot easier. Alright, so I just got that rag there to catch any spillage, and just gonna fill her up. You'll probably see the liquid going down the line here in a second. Now, one thing to note, this here, it works for the Polaris Sportsman value line. This might not work on the XP line of Polaris Sportsmans. So, if you have the same differential, rear diff, whatever you want to call it, the same as this bike, this method should work. Definitely check your owner's manual. Make sure that you put the right amount of fluid in. But typically, it's just up to the fill hole. Once it starts to spill out, that's good to go. So for this bike here, it's 946 milliliters or 1 quart. Alright folks, so I just finished filling it, took the full quart and started overflow, so that's it. Put the plug in. I'm just going to clean up the drain plug and the fill plug a little bit, and that's pretty much it. The whole thing takes about 20 minutes. Is anyone watching this video who's done this before and have any other tips and tricks that could maybe help a beginner out? Again, leave those in the comment below. And yeah, hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button. If you like these videos, click on that notification bell icon, and see you guys on the next one.